Hello. I am going to take some time now to show you how to customize your courses in Edgenuity prior to the beginning of the semester. So this is really important to do for all of our classes, as we've learned a lot on how to use Edgenuity over the past couple years. So the agenda for today is why do we need to do this? The options that are available, course structures, customizing courses, and adding a lesson. So we'll take a look at how to search by standards, adding projects, and adding writing prompts. Within this, some of the topics that will be covered are adding projects and writing prompts, searching for content, and removing lessons and activities from a course. So why customize? First, Edgenuity is just the tool that we are using. So Edgenuity is not a plug and play type of curriculum. We can't just give it to students and expect that they are getting what they need out of the course. So we do need to, be the teacher for the course, figure out what it is we want students to learn, what do we want them to know, be able to do, and after that, adjust the course accordingly. So we'd like to align the content to our PLC outcomes, what are the essential skills and standards in each course, and customize Edgenuity to look like that as much as possible. You all know that plagiarism has been a huge issue in online learning, distance learning over the past year. And by customizing courses, we could reduce other academic integrity issues, including plagiarism, so that we don't go crazy. So using an existing course as a template, you could remove content and add lessons from the Edgenuity lesson library, create your own activities, and reorder units, lessons, and activities. This is a 4-step process to customizing your course. You're going to start with investigating your course content. I'll go into specifics on how to do that in a minute. Then you are going to find the course that you need, create a unique name using our naming conventions here at the high school. Then you will change the content to reflect the instructional needs per your subject area and your PLC team. And lastly, you will publish the course and set up the course options. So step 1, you are going to investigate the course content through the course structure. And before you do this, or while you're doing this, you're going to check in with your department and subject area PLC and assign the course, align the course with the face-to-face course. So how to do this? So once you're logged into Edgenuity, you will go up to the top of the page where it says courses. And on that drop down, you will select that first one that says manage courses. In the search bar, you could use that as much as you want. So if you're looking for a math course, you could type in math. But I really encourage you to take a look at the filters. So if you click on the filters, you should be able to filter courses out based on the subject, the grade level, the series, and so on. So what this looks like when you get your filter set up, you should have Mountain House High School set as your school. And then you could select in the filters the subject. For this example today, I'm going to use a U.S. history course. So I put grade level 11. And then one of the things in the filters that you really want to be sure that you do is go to Edition and select Current. So there's current, previous, and unsupported. So we never want to use an unsupported class. We always want to use the current. It's not the end of the world if we end up with a previous one. So a previous course, that means there's a newer edition out there on our course page for Edgenuity, and we have access to the current edition. But previous is still supported and it can be used. So it's not the end of the world, but please do, when you're going to customize your courses, just filter it initially with the edition and current. If you go to the top of this page, the little settings button, the top right, right next to like where the Excel button is. There's those 3 buttons there. If you go to settings, then you'd be able to select what you want to see here on this page. So right now I have it set up where I see the name, the external course code, the subject, grade, series, and edition. You could change that as much as you want, but as you're setting up the courses, make sure you do have edition selected, because you really, really want to make sure you're using the current edition. Also, make sure the series is listed here. So if you see along the top, it says name, course code, subject, grade, and series. And then you see AP, 3000, and then 3000 honors. So 3000 is the current edition for most courses for Edgenuity that are Common Core aligned courses. And those are college prep courses that are non-honors or non-AP courses. If they're 3000, they're Common Core, and then if they have the honors next to it, that means they're also an honors edition. And then you see in the series the column for AP. So you could sort by series as well. I usually leave that off of my filters, but I do keep it so that I see the page and that it's active when I'm looking at it. So just be sure that before you publish the course and while you're at this page, the course that you're working with, just double check all the time your series and your edition. Next, over here in the far right, you're going to select the course that you want to use. So like I said, I'm going to use US History as my example. You'll see here, there's US History, and then there's US History Honors, and then US History A and US History B. When you're customizing a course, you want to start with the full year length course. That way, when you get to where you're editing your options, everything will be the same and you don't have to do the work twice. It's better to just kind of start with one single shell and work from there. So you're going to select the checkbox over here on the left next to the course you're going to work with. And then over here, my top orange arrow, I had to select more to get to view course structure. Sometimes, depending on what your settings are, you might see, after you click this checkbox, you might see view course structure show up somewhere else. For me, it's usually when I click this more button, then the view course structure comes up. So to investigate the content of your course, you're going to click on that, view course structure. Once you're in here, so this is the structure of the course. If you go up to the right where it says course documents, you'll see some things that you'll need for the course pop up. So for this, as I'm investigating the content and then I'm going to get ready to customize, I encourage you all to download the scope of the course. It tells you basically everything that's listed here on this page would be in the scope, and it really breaks down the lessons and what's going to be in the course. So you'd want to take that document and look closely at what's being taught in the face-to-face course, and maybe like cross out things or label, write some notes on there so that you know later when you get into the course what it is that you want to take out. If you see that something's missing, make a note of that there on that scope page as well. Again, here on the course structure page, if you wanted to see what is in any of these lessons, if you click on the name of the lesson, it would come up with the objectives of the lesson, what the students are going to learn. And also when you click on the lesson, the teacher version of the guided notes is available. So you could get the answers, so to speak, of the notes there. The empty page of the guided notes, so if students were going to print them out or you wanted to help students and print them out for them, those are accessible there as well. If you click on the instruction, you could watch the videos, quiz answers, all sorts of things are available here on the course structure page. So when you download the scope and sequence, it'll look a little bit like this. It has the names of all the units, and those are the bold kind of blue lines here. And then each lesson within that unit and the lesson objectives. So One's 14 pages long. So like I said, I would encourage you to print it out, make notes on it, cross it off. For this particular class, U.S. History and Geography, do we want students to review the key content from 10th grade? Or is this something that maybe I could take out? I'm going to talk to my PLC team. I'm going to talk to my department and figure out what it is that needs to remain in the course and what could possibly be taken out and what needs to be added. Are we missing anything here? Is there something that my department feels is necessary and essential for our students to learn? And what should it be, and how am I going to get it in here? So now that you've researched the content of the course, you see what's in there, now it's time to make those adjustments and customize your course. So the step 2, you're going to find the template you'll be using to create a unique name following our naming conventions. So the naming conventions that we're going to use, the same as what we used last year, you're going to label it with the year, so 21, 22, the name of the course, and then label each semester. So this is semester A, so that's semester 1. You could also label B for semester 2. If there is no semester, if it's like a year-long course, or not a year-long course, semester length course only, then you don't need to label it A, B. Then you could just put the year in the name. Okay, so you're going to go through the same process again to find the course. You could also just click the back buttons after you've looked at the course structure. But you'll go to Courses, Manage Courses, use your filters to find the course that you're looking for. Select the box next to the course that you've chosen, you're going to work with, and find the Customize button. Like I said before, with the course structure, sometimes the Customize button will show up in different places. So if you go to the drop-down menu for More, that's where I find mine, go to More, and then I click on Customize. Once you do that, a page that looks like this will show up, and you will select this, create a new course based on this course. Once you're in here, you're going to need to name the course as one of the first things you must do. So this little red exclamation point will show up to remind you course name must be unique. You'll select the pencil icon next to the course name and enter the unique name following our naming conventions. So I've entered 2122 U.S. History A, and then you will click Save. And then this red course name must be unique warning goes away. Okay, so I've named the course. The next thing I'm going to do is change the content to reflect instructional needs per my subject area in PLC. All right, so as you see, that little red warning went away. I actually just changed the name of my course to Sample because who's ever creating the U.S. History course is going to want to use that for their title, and you can't have two courses with the same name. So it's my course, and a few things I want to show you here. So on the top right, you'll see this box that says Learn about creating a new course. If you click on that, it's going to take you to the Customization Quick Start Guide. It's a publication that Edgenuity puts out, and it's really helpful to have that on hand if you have any questions. So it's a good reference for you to go back and look at things that are kind of just general Edgenuity questions that might come up while you're customizing a course. The next thing I want to point out over here on the left is where it says time, lessons, and activities. So this is the current length of the course, and as you take things out, it will adjust. So if you take out a lesson or activity, those numbers will go down, the time will also go down, and it will just continue to change as you customize it. It's showing right now 122 hours and 31 minutes. That's because right now I have the entire year of the course here. So as we customize it, you'll see that the time will change. And then over on the left side of that, where it says filter activity types. You'll be able to use that to take out things based on, like, let's say you wanted to take out the warm-ups or you wanted to take out summaries. You could filter by those activity types and take those specific things out if that's something you wanted to do. So to keep like the integrity of the course, as a college prep UC A to G course, we want to not take out too much, but you can take out up to 30% of the content that Edgenuity has put in here. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at the time and the lessons and activities, that you can have the flexibility to take things out. And then also remember, you're going to be able to put things in, and it's highly encouraged that you put your own things in as well. So these blue arrows next to each unit, if you click on them, it will expand the unit to show you all the lessons within that unit. So as an example, you see here, if the second blue arrow, if I would have clicked it, all these lessons are within this industrialization unit. And now I could see where they all are. If I wanted to rearrange any of them, I would click on these little dots. I don't know what they're called, domino looking things. But you could just click on that, and then you'll be able to drag it and rearrange it anywhere in the course. So this can be done with units as well. So you can move a unit up or down by clicking on these dots, or you could just do it within a lesson. Also on the left-hand side with the green check marks, if you want to take out a lesson within a unit, maybe it's something that your department hasn't considered essential, then you would just deselect the green arrows to do that. So when you do toggle these units on and off, it will adjust the time and lessons in each unit as well as the whole course. And it will also modify any subsequent assessments to reflect the changes. So if you take out a lesson, when the student takes the unit test, they won't be tested on the information that was given in that lesson. And same goes with the final. So if you took out some lessons, or even if you took out a whole unit, the final will no longer ask them questions on that certain lesson or unit. So if you click on the title of a unit, it will display the unit's lessons again over here on the left side. So a couple things I want to point out here as well. So you'll see when I clicked on the title, it pops up on the left-hand side, and it has at the very top here, it says effects of industrialization. There's a pencil icon. So if you wanted to change the name of the unit, you could click on the pencil and change the name of a unit to whatever you want to change it to, or you're free to leave it as is as well. And then as you see, all the lessons pop up. So it's just another way to see the lessons and what's in them. You could still click and drag here, but this way you see the objectives as well. And if you click on the name of the lesson, so you could do that under the unit. If you click on the name of the actual lesson, the activities within that lesson show up. And then you could reorder the activities if you wanted to. You could deselect some. So maybe there's particular lessons that you feel like they don't need to do the warm-up, whatever it might be. You have the ability to change things right there. The objectives, again, they pop up so you can see them. So as you're hovering kind of over a unit, you'll see over here on the left-hand side, you have the option to add a unit. And when you're there at the unit, you could also see on the left-hand side, add a lesson. So if you click on add a lesson, it'll pop up either search by keyword or search by standard. So we're going to do that now. We're going to click on add a lesson and then search by standard. So when you do that, you could change here your subject area. and then search by standard. So I have CC highlighted, which is Common Core State Standards. You could change that to any state. So you could change it obviously to California, and then pull up the content standards that are applicable to your subject area. If you click on this select library, you'll be able to choose kind of the course within your subject area that you wanted to look at. So once you've made your selections, so now I have California Content Standards for Social Studies, you're going to go through, you could search by keyword too, is another way to do it here. Or you could actually put in the actual standard if you wanted to do that. And when you find the lesson that you want to add, you would select the checkbox and then click on Add Selected Lessons. And then you'll see it shows up here into my unit. So assessments are intuitive with Edgenuity too. So just like I was saying, how when you take things out, those questions from that content area are no longer in the assessments. When you put things in Edgenuity, if you take one of those lessons and you put it in, the quizzes and the tests will be modified based on what lessons have been added. So this does not include teacher-created activities, which we'll go over in a second, but it does include Edgenuity-created lessons. Okay, so now that you've seen how to add a lesson, this is how you can add an activity. So let's say you want to put one of your own activities in. So I'm in my unit, Effects of Industrialization, and I go down and I look at the immigrant experience. I've clicked on that. So the lesson now is showing up, the activities within the lesson. And since I have the activities within the lesson showing up, I could click this button, Add Activity. When you select Add Activity, you're going to get the choices of writing prompt or project. So depending on which one that you want to do, we're going to start this time with the writing prompt. So I selected writing prompt. A page will come up that says Add Activity. And then you're going to select Create New Activity. You're going to give it a name, the information. So just 1 to 2 sentences here about what the students will do in the activity, just as a preview. Oops, excuse me. And then the prompt. So what is the prompt that you want the students to work on? Here you could also add links to external sites. So if maybe you had something that you wanted, that you had saved in a Drive folder or wherever it might be, you could link them to your prompt, or you could put the prompt right here in Edgenuity. You could put a sample answer in. I encourage you to put something in here just in the event that maybe you're not going to be grading the stuff in this particular course and it might be assigned to a different teacher, or you were out and someone had to do the grading for you, or whatever it might be. It's good to have a sample answer if using your own prompt or a link to your rubric or what you're exactly looking for. Keywords are unnecessary because this is only if you want the assessment to be scored by the AI. We do not recommend that you do that. And then scoring guidance. Again, this is where I would link a rubric or some sort of scoring guidance in the event that you are not the person scoring this. And finally, after you've entered the scoring guidance, down at the bottom, this is a key part you must do, is the grade weight category. So where do you want this to fall in the grade weights? And we'll talk in a bit about adjusting grade weights, but it's really important that you have an idea of where you want your writing assignments to be. So that is for a writing prompt. For a project, it's very similar. You would, again, go to your lesson, and then you would click on Add Activity. You would select Project, Create New Activity, create project, enter the name, the activity information, the resources the student needs, and then again, the grade weight category. So just a note on these also is once they've been created, once your essay has been created, your project, whatever it might be, those will be saved in your account, and you could later add them again in other places. Just note, like when you make something the first time, it'll be saved in there. So let's say I'm making a writing prompt for my US history class. I type that in there, and now I'm going to be working on my world history class. And the prompt is similar, so I wanted to use the same rubric and all that stuff. You have to create a whole new activity. You can't use the same activity that you used from US history and just edit it and modify it for the new one, because then it'll change it back in the old one too, if that makes sense. So just always, each time you're doing it, create a new activity for that class. So now I'm done. I've added some essays. I've added a project. My own kind of assessments have been added. I've taken some things away within each unit. So I have all my units still turned on, but there's some lessons within those that I've turned off. You see my time now is 56 hours and 52 lessons. So you're probably going to want to, 56 is actually still somewhat long for what we ask students to do. Because remember, this is just their active time on the course. If they're writing an essay or they are doing a project, that doesn't take that time into account. And then you'll see how I have the first 5 units turned on. So there's 10 units, usually in a full-length course for each class on Edgenuity, for each full-length one. So I've turned off 5 of them and turned off the very last cumulative exam. So there's always a cumulative exam here in the middle as well. So I have my first 5 units and the cumulative exam. So I feel like pretty comfortable with my first semester here. So if I scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, there will be a button that says Publish Course. You're going to want to select that. And now you are going to want to do your options. So after you select that button that says Publish Course, you'll get a second page that comes up that just is asking you to verify. And you'll click Publish again. Side note here. So let's say you've published it, you've published the class, and then you decide, you're like me at 2 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and you're like, oh no, I forgot I wanted to do this, or I wanted to change this. So then you do the same steps of finding the course again. You go manage courses, you search for your course, you find it there. Instead of creating a whole new one over again, you could just say modify course without creating a copy. And you could take out or change what you need there. So just a note on that bit, that once students are enrolled in a course, you're limited now on how you can modify it. So you can only turn on and off content. You can't add new content or rearrange the content once students are in the course. So just be sure, prior to the first day of school, your course is all set and you're happy with the way it is and the order that it's in. Okay. So you've clicked Publish. Then the next thing that shows up here is to check your course options and make sure your grade weights total 100%. So once you click on that, check options. I'm just going to go through this whole school-wide course options page with you. So the passing thresholds, let's talk about that one first over here on the right. So you have quizzes, tests, and exams. So this past year, we had these all set at 0, and it seemed to work out fine. If you change these, like let's say you changed the test to, what is our passing? So let's put it at a C. So you could change the test to 60. And what that would do is that would stop the student. So if they got a 60 on a test, you would get an alert on your page, like a red alert that says the student needs to see you for like a retake. But the problem with that is the student can't go on while they're waiting for you to have them come in and do a retake. So I like the idea of just setting them all at 0s then you can manage it and call the students in as needed, as you see from like your grade book. So if a student got a low score, they got a D or an F, or even a low C or something, and you really want them to come back and take it because it's affected their grade considerably, you can do that on your own rather than locking the student. Because if you lock the student, then sometimes it takes them a while and they start getting further and further behind. So we've had these set at 0, and that's worked really well, but you're open to changing these since it's your course. The grade weights over here, so you just want to make sure they equal 0. Make sure they equal 100. So at Mountain House High School, with our grading policy, we usually do 90% of the grade is mastery and 10% is mastery prep. So when I've set up the Edgenuity courses in the past, I divide the assignments and quizzes and use those as mastery prep. So I've done 5 and 5. You could change those as much as you want to equal 10. I just have always set them at 5 and 5. So quizzes, students, the quizzes aren't locked, so students could go and Google the answers and all that. So you might want to put more weight onto the assignments, or however you want to do it that works well with your classroom. And then you're going to have your tests, your exams, your essays, and additional. So for this kind of model, I put 30 for additional because I'm going to add my own, or I already have added my own essays. So I've added essays, I've added some projects, and the stuff that I added on my own, I put it in the additional weight category when I was choosing the category when I set it up. So I could have chosen the essay category and make that more, but this is just where you're going to edit your grade weights to reflect what's in the course and what you want students to learn. Oops, let me go back here. Okay, so assessment options. So you're going to want to check the assessment options for each course, and you're going to want to make sure the option is turned on to allow for save exiting test exams and hiding viewed questions. So these blue boxes over here, these should all be checked. Teachers have different opinions over here on the right-hand side, allow e-notes on quizzes and allow e-notes on tests. So if you want to deselect students having access to e-notes during tests, you would do that right here. And that way, because what we've seen in the past is some students will copy and paste the transcript into their e-notes and then do Control F and just find things, and it takes away from their learning. So you might want to disallow e-notes on tests. And then at the bottom here where it says fail attempts allowed, it's currently set at 1. I would keep this set at 1. And then that way, if a student wants to take a retake, they need to come see you, do some sort of error analysis, and then you could add a second retake at that point. The auto grading method, I have highlighted teacher supported. You're going to want to change the option there to teacher supported as well, so that you would go back and review some of the assignments students submit. And then you're going to want to be sure all 3 of these boxes are checked in the teacher review. So test activities review, check that one, exam activities review, and require review for each attempt. So what that means is it locks the tests and the exams and requires you as the teacher to do a review first, make sure the student's done all the work in the unit, make sure they've done it with fidelity, go back, review their assignments, review their scores on the quiz, and make sure that they're really ready to take the test so that you can unlock it. The other thing here is the default review timeout length. So we've had that set at 5, and that means just a student must start taking the assessment within 5 minutes of it being unlocked or it will time out. Next is guided notes. Please keep that box checked, and that will give students access to guided notes. Free movement, please keep that one off. So students must do all the work in the order that it's assigned in the course. Pre-testing, also keep that off. And then the quiz review method, that's up to you as a teacher. Do you want, if a student, once they're done taking the quiz, they could go back and review their quiz. Do you want to show them the questions and their answers, or do you want to show them the questions and what the correct answers were? So just a note on that, we have had students tell us in the past, when we had it set of questions and correct answers, that those same questions were then repeated on the test, and students just wrote down the answers in their notebook. So it's up to you what you want to do and what you think is best for your course. Then the next one is time limits. So time limits for assessments, you're going to want to check these. Quizzes, I would say like 20 to 30 minutes max. Tests, I'd give them a class period. And then exams, 2 hours. So you just adjust those so that they fit. Remember, you can always go back and change these options for particular students as needed. So if you had students that had any sort of special accommodations, you'd be able to change those options for those particular students. Next is the start and target dates for students. So as you're setting up your course, your start date for fall semester should be August 16th, and the end date is December 3rd. We're setting it at August 16th so that those first 2 days of school, the 12th and the 13th, students will be doing an orientation with you and just kind of learning the system, making sure they could get into their courses and all that. But then with the pace of being set at August 16th, then that will actually like pace them out to begin that day. And if they get a head start on the courses on the 12th or 13th, even better. Prescriptive testing options, please keep that off as well. And then if you have the option down here to enter an external course code, just leave that blank. I'll be filling in all of those once everyone's courses are customized. I'll go in and do that, and that's how we integrate with Aries. So once all your changes have been made, down at the very bottom, you will select Submit All Changes. Then you'll get this message. The top one says, do not change students currently assigned to this course, which is recommended. So as you're initially setting the course up, you would select that and click Submit. If you are making a change for all the students that were currently taking it, you would select the Next button down. After you've done that, you should get a little green message up at the top that says the changes were made successfully. So phew, that's one semester down. Good job. Now the second semester, you want to create that as well. But after you've created that first one, creating the second semester is much easier because now you've really got a template to start working with because all those options are already completed for you. So courses, manage courses, use your filters, select the box next to your first semester course because now that's the one you're going to use. So select the box next to your first semester, find your Customize button, select Create a New Course based on this course. You're going to click on the little pencil icon at the top and just change the semester from A to B. You're going to turn off all the content from the first semester, turn back on the content from the second semester. I kept this unit off just to show you that you don't have to turn everything on. You can leave some things off if you're going to be entering, some of your own assignments or projects or whatever it might be. Don't feel like you need to have everything on. Some things can go off as long as you're aligning it to what's being taught in the face-to-face courses and the rigor of a college prep course is still there. After you've done that, you've put in your projects, you've put in your essays, your own assessments, whatever you're doing to customize your course. Once you're done, the bottom right, you would click Publish Course. Check your grade weights. Right now, so your passing thresholds, everything that you set for semester should still be in here. So that's the good thing here because it's less work to do. So make sure your grade weights are adjusted though, because if something, changed for second semester, it would highlight there. You're going to want to change and put your second semester dates in. So the start date for second semester is January 5th. Again, that gives students 2 days prior to the actual the time that Edgenuity will pace them out. So Edgenuity will pace them from January 5th, 2022 to May 20th, 2022. And the end date for AP classes, please set for the last day in April, which is April 29th, 2022. For more information on AP classes, there's going to be a second video coming out because there are some special considerations we want to make when setting up our AP courses. Once you're done, you've entered the dates, then just click on Submit All Changes. You'll get your green. The changes were made successfully. And then you should see it show up here in your managed courses. So I have my semester A, my semester B. Double check my edition, their current editions. The series is correct. I am good to go. My US history class has been made and it's completed and it's aligned with our face-to-face class as much as it possibly can. So, of course, I'm happy to help you guys. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I will be in the office the rest of this week, but I will take some time off this summer and I'll be back on campus July 14th and happy to help you anytime after that. All right. Thank you so much.